Welcome back to Stab the Dragon Productions for episode number 85, whiskey review number 52, and whiskey comparison number 1. As today I start something new. A whiskey comparison is where I take two whiskeys with something in common. It could be the distillery, it could be the proof, it could be the type of whiskey, and then I compare them to see which one I like the best. It's that simple. These will not be blind tastings. I'm going to know which is which. And today, we're looking at two Bushmills products. I've got the original Bushmills, and I've got Red Bush, both coming in at 40 ABV, or 80 proof. These reviews will be a little bit shorter than the ones I normally do, and we're just going to try to find the winner, right? Which one I like better. So first of all, just the facts. Bushmill Distillery in County Antrim of Northern Ireland claims to be the oldest licensed distillery in the world. And it says that here on the bottle, right here on the label. It says world's oldest licensed whiskey distillery. But that's a little bit of a hoo-ha statement. I mean, it's, maybe you can read that, maybe not. Because, there's a little bit of a thing about that. You see, that oldest license was granted by King James I to Sir Thomas Phillips in 1608. Yeah, that King James, the one who authorized the translation of the Bible, the King James Bible, right? But the actual company, the Bushmills Old Distillery Company, was founded by Hugh Anderson in 1784, which unfortunately was just a few years after Jameson was founded. Now in 2020, Bushmills was the third leading seller of Irish whiskey in the world. In 2021, Bushmills was fourth in sales for Irish whiskey in America. Came in behind Proper 12 at number 3, Tullamore Dew at number 2, and Jameson by a mile in number 1. Both of these whiskeys are triple distilled. They're both 80 proof, 40% ABV. But the original, on the website, it says it was aged 5 years in bourbon and sherry casks. But, the bottle says aged for a minimum of 3 years because that's Irish law. The original, and this is December of 2022, Fort Worth, Texas. The original comes in at $24.99 at Goody Goody, $21.02 at Specs, $21.99 at Total Wine. Red Bush, again 80 proof, 40% ABV. It's aged in first fill bourbon barrels, says the website, and it says that it's aged for 4 years. Coming in at $24.99 at Goody Goody, $24.07 at Specs, and $23.99 at Total Wine. Now, in all fairness, this bottle of original Bushmills I've had for a couple of years, and it's almost empty. So, that may affect the flavor just a little bit. So keep that in mind. Whereas the Red Bush is brand new. I just opened it a little while ago. So let's now compare these whiskeys. The website says that the original is versatile, it's approachable, vanilla, caramel, honey, oatmeal cookies, and summer fruit notes. The color is a light straw, whereas the Red Bush is just a shade darker, maybe, at a lighter amber. So I'm thinking that here you can see the color difference there. It's just a little bit darker, maybe a slight tint of red going on there. The original, the nose, a little bit of green apple, a little bit of honey. Nothing strong, it's a little bit light. But when I first opened this a couple of years ago, I got the green apple. I gave it to my wife to smell. She got green apple. So, taste. A bit of that apple and honey. It's very pleasant. Not much of a burn. I mean, just a tiny bit of a burn. It's very smooth whiskey, and it's not thin like some 40 proof bourbons are, or 80 proof bourbons are. 80 proof in a bourbon frequently comes across really thin for me, but an 80 proof Irish does not, and I'm not sure why. The mouth feels just a little bit creamy, so that's nice. There's a hint of bitterness or tartness, like apple skin, maybe on the finish. And just a hint of that ethanol thing going on there. I get that a little bit with Bushmills. But overall, that's a very pleasant drink. A little bit weak. I kind of approach Irish whiskeys as they're just not strong and bold like American whiskeys are. And I think it's that triple distilled thing that they do. Really refines that whiskey to where it's very, very smooth. So now let's look at the Red Bush. Again, it's just a shade darker. The website says it's well-rounded, versatile, complex. You get vanilla, nuts, honey, and bourbon. Nose. Much less of a nose. I can't really get anything. Maybe just a very vague sweetness. But no, the nose does not compare favorably with the original. Let me get a swig of Topo Chico before I drink this. Try to reset my palate just a little bit. Here we go. Much less taste than the original. Smooth, again, very little burn. You get a touch of that ethanol. There might be just a little bit of sweetness, honey and caramel, but it's not very sweet at all. This is just very vague. The mouth feels okay. It's not too thin. Getting just a little bit of the tingly thing, telling me that, yeah, you just drank whiskey. But there's no real flavor that sticks out here. Wow, that's unfortunate. There's just not much going on there. So, what that means is the winner, Bushmills Original. Definitely. Not even close. When I first got this bottle of Bushmills, again, I tasted and smelled the green apples from the very beginning. But it's a very pleasant whiskey. It's not strong. It's not spectacular. Even though I get a little bit of an ethanol thing once in a while with it, it's a very smooth whiskey. Great for a beginner. I think so. This is probably very popular in cocktails, but to me, I'm thinking there's not enough flavor here. A cocktail would just rob this of what little flavor it's got. And now that I've tried the Red Bush, it's like you put that in the cocktail and you won't even know you're drinking anything. I mean, there's no, and I'm not getting any flavor at all there. That's unfortunate. I'm disappointed here. Almost zero flavor. But caveat, I've learned to never judge a whiskey by a neck pour. I'm going to come back to this when I'm about a quarter or a third of the way down, because for me, that's the sweet spot in the bottle. And so I'm going to see if it interacts with the air, develops more of a flavor somewhere along the line. But man, I'm pretty disappointed there. Well, that's it for the first whiskey comparison by Stab the Dragon. Bushmills Original versus Bushmills Red Bush. Now, this next week is the 81st anniversary of Pearl Harbor. It started World War II for the Americans. And so I'm probably going to try to do a military whiskey in-depth review this week. So we'll see if we get that done. So Stab the Dragon out here.